Just when we thought the worst has passed at Korea's domestic politics, another battle is brewing in the National Assembly, with the ruling Saenuri Party calling on the opposition to pass new cyber-terrorism legislation before the session ends next week. This as the opposition continued to lodge its objections to a new anti-terrorism law that was the subject of the filibuster it brought to an end earlier this week. For the latest, we turn to our Myung-kil.
The ruling Saenuri Party said Thursday now that South Korea has a counterterrorism law, it's time for Parliament to pass legislation on countering cyber attacks from North Korea.
North Korea's cyber attacks are another big threat to South Korea's national security. Therefore, the cyber-terrorism bill must also be passed as soon as possible. We ask for the opposition's cooperation.
Pyongyang launched a cyber attack on Seoul in July 2009, 2 months after its second nuclear test, and hacked South Korean media outlets in March 2013, a month after its third nuclear test. Meanwhile, the ruling party hailed the passage of the counterterrorism law, which went through after the main opposition party ended its 9-day filibuster against the legislation. Under the new law, a control tower for the government's anti-terrorism measures will be set up under the Prime Minister's office. The National Intelligence Service will then be allowed to collect information on terror suspects, including private communications, travel, and financial transactions. The expansion of the spy agency's power was what drew the objections of the main opposition Minju Party of Korea, which criticized the ruling party for passing the legislation unilaterally after the opposition walked out of parliament in protest.
The counterterrorism law was an act of terror on South Korean citizens' basic rights and the constitution, as it could infringe on people's human rights. President Park Geun-hye and the Saenuri Party have chosen the spy agency over citizens' rights and democracy.
With the battle for the counterterrorism bill over, the Saenuri Party now hopes to push for passage of another contentious set of bills aimed at labor market reform. But there are two main concerns: that there's not much time before the current parliamentary session ends next Thursday, and that lawmakers' focus will soon turn to the general election in April. Myung-kil, Arirang News.